After a night in New York, the People's Princess has wings, and now 7 Huskies have been taken with the WNBA Draft's first overall pick. Will the backcourt that brought Title 12 to Stores become Lone Star legends after reuniting in Dallas? We'll talk about it, but first.
And while the dust has settled on the end of the 2025-2026 basketball season for the men, the transfer portal wind is picking up. We're going to hear from head coach Dan Hurley on how he's handling this chaotic week while he tries to build a roster.
And it was game day at the Rent in April for the first time since 2022. We'll hear from Coach Jason Candle and one of more than 60 players who are wearing Husky uniforms for the first time. Connecticut Game Week starts now.
With the first pick in the 2026 WNBA Draft, the Dallas Wings select Azzi Fudd, University of Connecticut.
Well, Madison Square Garden has been called Store South for years, but College Park Center, home of the Dallas Wings, might have taken that title away. Maybe? Well, no. Okay. Well, it was worth a try. Azzi Fudd, of course, was the #1 overall draft pick in this week's WNBA Draft. Make it 7 #1 overall selections for UConn. Welcome into Connecticut Game Week. I'm Sean Humphrey.
And I'm Alexa Harley. Now, this season, we'll see a Beckers and Fudd backcourt once again, which I'm sure makes Husky Nation and I'm sure Dallas very excited. And this also comes after there was some speculation as to just who would go #1. In the end, Azzi Fudd was the #1 pick, and she's now the highest paid first overall pick as well in WNBA draft history.
Fresh off a new CBA for the WNBA, and there was TCU guard Olivia Miles, this year's Final Four most outstanding player Lauren Betts, and Spanish center Awa Fam Thiam. All of them had a chance to go #1. In the end, it's Azzi, and it's also our best in show. Mentioned the fans got what they wanted. When we were in Fort Worth a few weeks ago during the NCAA tournament, we saw fans holding signs, playing a little armchair GM, and imploring the franchise to draft Fudd. So it's no surprise the celebration was on in the Lone Star State. They even already had number 35 jerseys on. For Fudd, it's a surreal moment, one she was asked to describe after she left the stage.
I'm not really sure I have words to describe that feeling, what that meant. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean,
that's fine.
I don't think it's fully sunk in. I don't really have words. It is nothing I could have imagined. The feeling sitting there with my family, with Morgan, hearing your name called, getting to walk up there, it's such a surreal feeling. I'm so grateful.
Now, this move also reunites a dynamic duo you heard us talk about at the top of the show. We've seen go #1 in back-to-back drafts, of course, talking about Paige Bueckers and now Azzi Fudd. The last time we saw these two on the court together, they were cutting down the nets and celebrating a national championship. And Fudd talked about what it means to play alongside Bueckers again, especially after the injury adversity they both faced during their collegiate careers.
Our time at UConn felt like, it was just full of injury, full of like either I was playing, she was playing, I wasn't. It wasn't until last year that we really got a chance to actually play together, and even then it wasn't a full season. So I feel like there's still so much left on the table and so much unknown on, just so much potential with not just her, but the entire Dallas Wings roster. So I can't wait, obviously, to play with her again, but to play with every single one of them.
And Fudd was one of 2 Huskies selected in this year's draft. The Connecticut Sun drafted forward Sarah Williams before it traded her to the expansion Portland Fire. It's worth mentioning Williams was at the draft with the entire team to support Fudd, so she had the chance to walk across the stage and have her own WNBA draft moment. She'll now join former UConn guard Nika Mule on the Fire after the Seattle Storm traded Mule to Portland.
So you just saw Fudd get selected #1. You have to imagine no one's happier than her to be the #1 overall pick in the draft, right? Well, wrong. There's actually one person who might be just a little more ecstatic than she is.
With the first pick in the 2026 WNBA Draft, the Dallas Wings select Azzi Fudd.
Yeah, emphatic is the right word. That's 8-year-old superfan Violet Madian, who had the adorable reaction to the draft the other night. Now, Violet has also met Azzi before. She participated in one of her clinics in the past couple of years. And don't worry, she's also already got tickets to see Azzi Fudd suit up for the Wings this summer.
Oh, I love her a lot, and I decided to play basketball and got her as my favorite player because she will have more time to play basketball since she was only in college. And now I'm really excited she's in the WNBA and I get to go see more of her games.
Well, you know what they say, all good things must come to an end. And for the UConn men's hoops team, their historic season came to a much later end than most basketball programs just last week. Not even 24 hours after the loss in the national title game to Michigan, the Huskies that still have eligibility now have to figure out their future, stay or go. The transfer portal has completely shifted the way coaches stack their rosters and how teams and programs are built in the offseason. And now rosters have also expanded to 15 players. So college hoops used to be really centered around recruiting young talent out of high school and then fostering and nurturing that talent in the early years so they were elite by that sophomore, junior season. Now it's more about where the dollar signs flash the brightest. And in this new era of college athletics, coaches have had to adapt if they want to stay relevant and stay winning.
You definitely missed that relationship part. Building that relationship, winning someone over, through trust built and a shared vision, certainly feels better than outspending somebody to get their commitment. So right now you're trying to marry the two.
So a few players have tossed their names into the portal as of this week, but when it's all said and done, Hurley is going to need to compile a roster full of 15 players. So as it stands right now, how many guys does he have?
Are you asking me if I could play 5-on-5 right now? I'm just saying, can we play 5? Like if somebody else brought 5 people in here, we could play them. For the most part, we don't have people that are running into the portal. There's people that have to make really hard decisions. Our season ended later than most. So there's players that haven't even come in yet and had the conversation about like whether they want to go in the portal or not. So like we got a great culture here.
NIL and the transfer portal have been under scrutiny by dozens of college coaches across various sports over the last couple of years. And many agree that there needs to be restrictions and regulations put in place. But Hurley has said that he's trying to embrace some of the aspects of the new era of college athletics.
I actually like the fact that the players have to recommit to wanting to be a UConn Husky and really having to look deep inside, their soul, and obviously there's a business component to it too, but I like the fact that players now have to, on a yearly basis, decide whether they want to be a Husky or not. I think I'm embracing that right now.
Now, while there is a lot of time and uncertainty surrounding the portal window, one thing is for certain, and that is that Silas Demery Jr. is returning to stores for another season. He made the announcement via social media this week. Hurley also confirmed that Jaden Ross will suit up for the Huskies once again. The college basketball transfer portal window will officially close on April 21st.
Well, spring had sprung at the rent. We had decent weather, sunshine, bearable temperatures, the tailgaters, and the UConn marching band. They all made it feel like fall. And our top dog, UConn football, held its first spring game since 2022. The first chance fans had to get a look at head coach Jason Candle's brand new squad. And when I say brand new, I mean brand new. When the transfer portal opened, these players arrived in stores like the superheroes in Avengers Endgame. Yes, for more than 60 players on the roster, it was a Rentschler Field debut. And while players like Boston College transfer Matt Reagan enjoyed their first trip to East Hartford, Coach Candle says he's still evaluating his roster, a process that will continue into the fall.
It was just good competing a little more and feeling it in the stadium. I mean, we got so many new guys that I've never been in here playing, so it was cool to come over here. It felt a little more like a game, even though it was kind of that practice format, but it was coul. It was great being in the locker room. It's great putting the jerseys on. And it was just a better, more game-like feeling kind of coming into this with the morning and the meetings, getting that pregame, the bus over here. It was a good experience to finally feel what that's like.
You know, you put 1s, 2s, and 3s on a tag for guys to get reps, but again, I don't have a depth chart right now, and I don't think that's fair to say that to the kids or to you guys. So we head to the next phase of summer. We turn the team to the quarterbacks. We'll figure out whose leadership skills will surface and who we can count on to, when things get hard, because they've really invested in their teammates.
It wouldn't be game day at the Rent without Dale Nozzle in his trademark blue and white paint. Again, this was the first spring game in 4 years. The band, the cheerleaders, and both Jonathans. Worth mentioning, I did not see our four-legged friend. They're all essential, and Candle says investing in the fan experience goes beyond the game itself. It's something he's made a priority for the guys in the locker room.
I mean, I ask our players to, they're here in a 5-year window. They're going to leave Connecticut a better place than they found it. And if it's unfair for me to ask them to do that if I'm not willing to do that myself. So, our staff, our team, we're going to be available. We're out in the community each and every week doing community service and things like that. We want to engage in our fan base. We want to bring our alumni back. We want to make, this a special place for the people that really care. And if you don't present it that way and you don't create that engagement, you don't create that want to from our end of it, then it's easy for people to walk away when things don't go your way. And in football, there's adversity that's coming from all different angles. So it's not always going to be great. It's not always going to look good. But at the end of the day, we got to have great responses to it. And it's easier to have those responses if you have equity invested into the people.
UConn opens its season September 5th against Lafayette College. With the offseason ahead for UConn women's basketball, it's a good time to do some recon. And coming up, we'll hear from Bob Joyce, the team's longtime radio voice. Connecticut Game Week continues right after this.
I'm Kevin Ferry. When it counts, you need a top dog on your side. That's Ferry Law, proud sponsor of Connecticut Game Week's Top Dog.
UConn women's basketball is sailing the offseason seas after it's lost in the Final Four. And who better to help us do some recon than someone who's seen the Huskies find championship treasure from the best seat in the house. Let's welcome in Bob Joyce, who has been the team's radio voice since 2001. And Bob, the transfer portal is still relatively new. So with that short history in mind, what can we expect to see from this program?
I don't think they do it any different, Sean, than they do recruiting. It's got to be the right fit for the program. Obviously, they hit a home run a couple of years ago with Caitlin Chen. From a post-player perspective, this past year, I mean, Sarah Williams was okay, but I think another year or two under their tutelage of Gino and CD and Stores would have done her a world of good, coming from a program that had never really won before. So it was tough, but it's not like they just go out and pick and say, here, I'm going to throw gobs of money at you, come to UConn. It's got to be the right fit for what they need. Is it out there? Don't know yet. That's entirely up to the coaching staff.
And Bob, you lose Azzi Fudd, and on top of the locker room influence and the experience, you lose someone who shot nearly 45% from three-point range. So where do you replace that production?
Well, you do need a shooting guard to accentuate Ashlyn Shade, who's really the best returnee as far as three-point shooting goes. KK and K9 have to spend a lot of time in the gym this season working on their shot, for sure. But I think you need someone too, Sean, that can break down an opponent when you need it. Paige Beckers was that kind of player. It wasn't electric, but she knew how to do it with all the hard work she put in, all the video that she watched, the patience that she played with. She was able to do that. And I think that's a piece that was somewhat missing this past offseason. Kaylee Heckel had a knack to get to the basket, contort her body, and make some amazing shots around the rim. But they need more than that. Somebody that can break it down, maybe hit the little 10-foot pull-up, little spin-around shot. Somebody that can take it to the rim, but also that can be that outside threat.
Bob, one thing we do know is that UConn is adding the Gatorade National Player of the Year in Olivia Bucosa. She had a dominant high school career, was very imposing in the low post as well, but she can also step out and shoot threes. So how do you see her adjusting to the college game based on the players you've seen come through the program?
One thing historically with post players, they tend to struggle early and then get better with each and every year in college hoops. I'll give you a great example. Stephanie Dolson was thrown to the Wolves when she got here in the fall of 2011. Now, she played with Maya. She and Bria Hartley were in the starting lineup as freshmen. Her second game was against Brittany Griner. She looked white as a ghost going out on the floor. You could see the nerves. But as the year went on, she developed very well. As each passing year went by, she learned how to take care of her body, slim down a little bit, get stronger. And by the time she was a senior, she was an All-American and one of the best passing post players to ever come through Storrs, Connecticut. Now, I can't sit there and predict what Olivia is going to do over the 4 years, but being a post player and you have CD, you have Tanya, Jamel, Gino to shape her over 4 years potentially. I mean, we don't know if they're going to be here all 4 years. I mean, that's kind of a white elephant in the room that nobody's talking about. How much length does Gino have left to coach here? But if she gets 4 years, by the time she's done, she'll be just fine. And what they hope to get out of her, because you've seen the track record with every great post player that UConn's ever had. By the time they're done, they're polished and ready to go for the next level. So we'll see if that happens with Olivia.
Bob, great talking with you. Thank you for joining us.
Well, coming up, we'll catch up with Laura Valentino, the head coach of the UConn softball team. The white and blue are red hot after a slow start to the season, so don't go anywhere. More Connecticut Game Week, right? Coming up.
In case you missed it, the UConn softball team has been red hot. Don't believe me? Look no further than Caitlin Breslin's first inning grand slam in this week's 6-0 win over Bryant. I spoke with head coach Laura Valentino about what's working and what this team's identity is. Here's part of our conversation.
So you started the season with some killer Big East championship rings. We see the years on the outfield wall as well. Is that something in the back of your mind as you roll through this back stretch of the season, or is it just one team at a time next game?
I think it's a little bit of both, right? We have Providence in front of us right now, so we're taking it one game at a time. But I can tell you that I came to UConn to be the best in the Big East. Every player that's in that dugout came to UConn to be the best and to win championships and to compete on a national stage. So I think that's always in the back of their minds, but right now we're going to take it to Providence. That's the goal.
What surprised you most about this group, whether it's a personality on the team, performance on the team this year, or maybe something that's in the group as a whole?
I think the seniors from the top are, I wouldn't say surprising me, but they're leading through their actions and the way that they compete. And I think we talk about having a Husky mindset, having a road dog mindset, and part of that is being gritty and finding a way. And it's not always going to be the perfect, we're going to out-hit people. We're going to out-scrap them. We're going to run the bases well. And I think our three seniors at the top of the lineup are really taking charge with that.
Well, still to come, the spring sports calendar is in full bloom, and we'll look at some of the teams that are heating up with the weather. A preview of what's in stores when Connecticut Game Week returns.
It was a hot week here in Connecticut, especially at Borough Family Field. The softball team carries an 11-game win streak into a weekend series with Providence. It'll be the first meeting between the two schools this season, who now battle for the top spot in the Big East standings. The series winds down on Sunday at 1. You can get tickets in person or at the UConn softball website.
And the baseball team hosts a big 3-game series against St. John's. The Huskies have won 6 of their last 8. St. John's currently sits atop the Big East standings, while the Huskies are tied for 3rd. UConn swept the Johnnies last season. The series concludes on Sunday at 1 o'clock.
Finally, and I've been excited about this one, Viking Gustafsson Nyberg made his NHL debut for the Minnesota Wild this week. The fans love his name, his 6'6" stature, and the fact that he's a player named Viking in Minnesota. He and the Wild will take on the Dallas Stars in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So, Alexa, we've been finally had some time to decompress after weeks of travel during the March Madness tournament. So I wanted to ask, obviously, I think the answer might be a little bit more obvious for you, but what were your favorite moments of the tournament?
I mean, the shot. It's hard to top that moment, and I know it's only the Elite Eight, and they played in the Final Four and then a national title game, but that moment, which I did get to capture on my work phone, and I was showing it to you, it's just complete pandemonium. And at that point, they were losing by so much. A lot of us were, were concerned like the season's over.
Yep.
And as the clock was winding down, they brought it within, I think it was 6. And myself and some of the other media members were like, I think we need to go out to the court. Like we could have overtime, we could have a buzzer beater, but I was going more on the odds of probably gonna be overtime. Like we're not gonna see a buzzer beater here.
Yeah.
And I was wrong.
It's crazy. I was in the shuttle on the way back to the media hotel from Dickey's Arena, and I was telling the driver, like, yeah, UConn's down by about 15 at halftime. It doesn't look good. And then I'm in my hotel room on the phone with my dad when Braylon Mullins hits the shot, and I'm jumping up and down. And full disclosure, I did not go to UConn, but I felt like hitting a big red chant. Like that was one of the most exciting things I've seen. So as far as my favorite moment, it's got to be the players doing the line dance in Fort Worth.
That's really good. I take it a step further in Gino doing the cowboy. I think is the top.
You don't expect it from Gino. I'm from Texas originally, and I saw the hat being made. So it's just everything coming together, and the camaraderie we've seen with that team all year. And then I don't know if you don't expect a line dance in Texas, especially after a win like that.
I don't think you expect it from Gino.
Yeah.
I think that's where we were kind of shocked, is to see him, let loose a little bit.
Yeah, but it was a blast in the tournament, bringing you coverage from all of the sites. We don't have enough time to list them all, but hey, more Connecticut Game Week comes back next week. I'm Sean Humphrey with Alexa Harley. We'll see you next time.